The Philadelphia Eagles closed out the regular season today with a 24-17 loss to the Washington Commanders at Lincoln Financial Field, finishing the year at 11-6 and locking in the third seed in the NFC. While the final score reflects a competitive contest, the deeper story of this game revolves around roster management, situational execution, and how much today actually matters once the postseason begins. Philadelphia entered Week 18 with playoff positioning on the line but elected to rest multiple starters, including Jalen Hurts and several key contributors on both sides of the ball. That decision shaped everything we saw on the field. From the opening drive, this was a game about evaluation, depth, and survival rather than urgency and dominance. Offensively, the Eagles generated just over 300 total yards, with backup quarterback Tanner McKee handling the bulk of the workload. McKee completed just over half of his passes, throwing for 241 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He showed poise at times but struggled to sustain drives when Washington adjusted defensively, particularly late in the game. The offense moved the ball between the 20s but lacked the explosiveness and precision required to close possessions consistently. Devonta Smith was one of the bright spots, surpassing the 1,000-yard mark for the season and continuing to demonstrate his value as a reliable target regardless of quarterback. Tank Bigsby provided the most consistent offensive energy, surpassing 100 total yards from scrimmage and scoring the Eagles' lone touchdown. Jake Elliott added a field goal that briefly gave Philadelphia momentum, but the offense stalled afterward. Defensively, the Eagles played with effort but were ultimately undone by penalties and fourth-quarter breakdowns. 9 penalties for over 120 yards extended drives and flipped field position, directly contributing to Washington's late surge. The Commanders scored 14 points in the final quarter, exploiting mismatches and capitalizing on defensive mistakes. Philadelphia's second-unit defenders held firm early but wore down as the game tightened. There were positives. Young players flashed. The defense forced turnovers. Depth pieces gained meaningful snaps. But situational football, third downs, penalties, and late-game execution, tilted the outcome. From a strategic standpoint, this loss is less about failure and more about consequence. By resting starters, the Eagles protected health but sacrificed seeding. The result is a tougher playoff path, beginning with a wild card matchup that leaves no margin for error. Whether that trade-off proves worthwhile will be judged entirely by what happens next. Nick Sirianni emphasized health and readiness over optics, and that philosophy now faces its ultimate test. The Eagles are entering the postseason healthy, experienced, and aware of their flaws. Today's game did not define the season, but it did underline the urgency ahead. That's going to do it for this edition of Philly Stat Line, where we break down the numbers, the narratives, and what it all means for Philadelphia sports. No fluff, just facts and context. As the Eagles move from regular season results to playoff reality, every snap starts to matter more, and every mistake gets magnified. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss what's next. And to support the brand, search Panforware LLC on Amazon for our sports, music, and tech-inspired items built for fans who live in the stats as much as the moments. This has been Philly Stat Line. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next breakdown.